So we've all seen it. The time when our athletes are doing everything right, whether it be a training, a practice, or on a particular team, they're just locked in. But then all of a sudden, just as quickly as it appeared, it disappears. And in another environment, they look absolutely lost. Well, this is because they're lacking in application activation. And today we want to talk about how athletes can apply their skills in any environment. So many athletes are doing everything under the sun to improve as players. And it's necessary, right? I don't care if it's the skill work, the speed, the strength, the stretching, it's all necessary. But what so many athletes are missing is the mental side. And that's why I say before we perfect our grinds, we've got to perfect our mind. It's what's between our ears that's going to get us to produce higher and higher results. And that's why we've created the Athlete Ascension community. We call it our AAC. AAC is designed to take young high school athletes from growth mode to go mode. Growth mode is passive. It's happening every day when they wake up. They're getting taller, they're getting stronger, they're getting smarter, at least in their own minds. But so many athletes are missing their window to get into go mode and accelerate and use and maximize their talents and strengths. That is why we meet every single Saturday from 12 to 12:15 Central Standard Time. We live stream from YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, and so many other sites. So even if they're on the road, traveling, or on vacation, or at work, they can watch it right then and there. And our live share list is constantly growing. What's greatest about our AAC Masterclass is that it's completely free for high school student athletes. Just go to jp3training.com to learn more and get from growth mode to go mode. So today's topic is application activation. Why is this important? Because athletes everywhere are training. They are going through the motions of practicing. They're putting in all the effort, but as parents, there's often a lag time between when they practice and when they gain skills to when they actually apply skills, which is natural, right? Anytime we go to learn something new, there's going to be a learning curve. There's going to be time. There's going to be a gap between when we learn the information and when we actually apply or taking the test and actually use the information. However, what happens to so many serious high school athletes is that they learn and stack skills. There's so much they can actually do, but they never perform the skills. They never activate the skills where the skills become useful in a real game environment. Or alternatively, they apply skills sometimes, but not all the times, or sometimes they just never even apply skills depending on a particular environment. And so I also have a video called Acclimating Your Aggressiveness, which has more to do with how to deal with different teams and coaches and environments and how to stay aggressive in any environment. But in this particular video, we want to address skills that are stacking that serious athletes are failing to implement into their play. Perhaps it's a deficiency that they practice on. Maybe they have a weak hand and they're practicing on it all the time, but they're still not applying it in-game situation. Maybe it's free throw shooting or the ability to shoot at all. Perhaps they're actually a strong shooter in their training or in their practices, but they're not able to apply it into the games. And today we want to address this issue. So the very first thing that we have to do in order to begin to apply or activate our application is to apply in our time, okay? Use your calendar. There's a such thing that I refer to as the calendar cheat code, because when you look at any person's calendar, you're going to be able to see right away what matters to them. Even though high school athletes don't necessarily use a calendar, the calendar is a great way to ensure that we're addressing any deficiencies in our application. So what does the calendar cheat code look like? Simply get your calendar and mark some times when you have gaps, when you can actually address these deficiencies. Maybe it's getting up earlier to run to address a lack of cardio. Maybe it is staying late after practice for 15 minutes to address our ball handling. Maybe it's watching these videos 15 minutes a week to address our mental deficiencies or mental hangups. Whatever the case is for you, the calendar is going to be your cheat code in order to activate your application. Next, after we apply in our time, we need to apply in our mind. Okay, everything starts in the mind, as I always teach. And so the very first thing we need to do after using our calendar is to begin to think about these deficiencies more intentionally. And so what this looks like is I often talk about meditation and visualization. Sometimes that goes over particularly young athletes over their head. And so simply developing think time, daily journaling, or doing something as simple as a walk or put it on some earphones for 2 to 5 minutes and just thinking through whether it's an issue or a skill that the athlete is wanting to apply. Maybe I've seen athletes, particularly high-level athletes, that have the ability to get downhill and get by people. However, when they get into the paint, they trip and stumble, or their timing's off, or they're often getting stripped of the ball or experiencing turnovers. Well, just thinking about the situation, thinking about getting past the first defender, getting to the second line of the defense, having a clean pickup, finishing contested shots, making plays in the gaps, in the teeth of the defense. All of these things should be thought about, can be broken down mentally. If you've heard good athletes, particularly professional athletes, say, the game just slows down for me. I've heard of baseball coaches teaching batters to count the stitches as the ball comes by. You want to be able to see the game in slow motion. And so that's what think time is all about. Taking time to stop and think about, number one, any deficiencies, any issues we're continuing to experience that are cropping up in our live play, or any unused skills that we have, that maybe it's our ability to go behind the back rather than cross over in front of the defender when we're experiencing pressure, which will keep us from committing turnover. So after we apply in our time and apply in our mind, the last step is to apply in our grind. And what this basically relates to is I need you to get a grind set. A grind set is a preset makeup of what you're going to do in particular situations. Think about adults. When we get into work most days, we have a particular grind set. We have a way to set up our day that is going to lead us to success. Maybe it's we address emails early. Maybe it's getting our pens and paper straight on our desk. Or speaking to a coworker or a secretary or whatever the case may be. We do the same things. Successful people do the same things when they start their day. Maybe they wake up and go for a walk or a run or a workout or read a book. Successful people curate their environment and leave clues for themselves from the previous day. And so whenever you watch a professional, people come early to see Steph Curry warm up. He has a certain warm up that he does every day. So how does this apply to high school athletes? Well, there are 3 specific times that most serious high school athletes are going to experience several times throughout their week. That is before and after school, before and after practices, and before and after training. If high school athletes can just take a few of these times and add a grind set to them, they will start to see that any deficiencies are quickly addressed, and also they are applying skills faster. What do I mean by this? So again, let's take the deficiency or the application of being a better ball handler. Every day before school, or every day after school, or maybe every day 5 or 10 minutes before your training, work on your ball handling. Have a preset grind set motions that you're going through or drills that you're practicing to address this deficiency. What I began to do as a college athlete was 5 to 10 minutes after every single practice, I would just do stationary ball handling. And I had a preset routine, and it took me from being a mediocre ball handler to, some would say, one of the best point guards in the nation as a senior. Your grind set can get you to activating your skills so much faster if you would only add it to one of these 3 areas. A lot of times this is also referred to as habit stacking. Adults will tie a habit to a activity that they do often. Like every time I walk through a door, I say my goals, or every time I wake up, I write my goals, or every time I start my car, I listen to an audiobook. These are all habits that we can match a grind set to in order to apply skills faster. So we all understand that environment is everything. Even more so for serious student athletes who are looking to maximize their time in high school and make the most of their talent. And when the environment's not right, not only does this waste time and talent, but also parents' treasure from years and years of investing in their athletes' athletic success. Still, navigating school options can be hard. And that's why I've created the School Selection Guide for Serious Student-Athletes. This free guidebook is going to walk you step by step through every critical element of the school selection process. So whether you're selecting schools for the very first time or even considering a school switch, this guide will help you navigate all the potential pitfalls and select the school that best fits your serious student athlete. Just go to jp3training.com/school source guide to get your free copy today.